Okay, welcome
Favorite
back.
part of the episodes.
Sorry?
No. Way to step on the intro, David. Jesus Christ.
I'm keeping that in. Welcome back to Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons for episode number 12. And just a little peek behind the screen here. If our listeners didn't know, we record 2 sessions per recording just to keep us kind of ahead of the curve, just because, you know, we're adults with lives. We need to take advantage of the time we have. So we literally just recorded episode 11, which we were discussing was one of the funner episodes we've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just a little recap, obviously, for the listeners who are listening to this 2 weeks after episode 11 came out. You guys found your way, or you started in the cavern where you encountered basically a golden retriever mimic who you had to play with, you had to scratch its belly, you had to give it a treat. Those were the 3 things you needed to do. Coughed up a key, put the 2 keys together, it immediately took you back to the big giant door on the side of the cliff. The dog did not come with you, so you guys decided to go get the dog. That is my bad. I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, David.
And then you went back to the...
Jeez.
Yeah. Who puts a dog in there and doesn't account for the party going back for the dog?
Yeah, no.
What kind of heartless bastards did you think we were?
And then you figured out
I think you did say you wanted to murder it.
Yeah, well, that was off record, I would say that. All right, so, yeah, and then you guys figured out that you had to attach the locket to the back of the key. You opened the door, swirling spiral staircase that every platform kind of gave you a clue and a hint as to the quest you've embarked upon, the secret stones that you have to collect. You, of course, met a very large, angry black dragon, who I believe Darren shushed at one point.
It wasn't as much a shush as it was just the over-the-shoulder index finger up, like, just give me just a second.
He then, of course, explained to you that you were missing a 4th party member because there are 4 stones, and the prophecy foretold of 4 descendants of the ancient magic users. He then left by basically tearing a huge hole in the ceiling. You guys ascended a large set of stairs, which took you far longer than it should have. Because Darren tried to fly. David tried to attach his spiderweb to Darren, which did work. And then Alex tried to grapple hook David, which didn't work. He pulled them both to the ground. They took some damage. Alex slowly put away his grappling hook without David or Darren noticing. They had no idea why they fell to the ground. And then Darren, luckily, did not have a heart attack climbing those stairs, but did have to just lie down as David collected the scroll, and then with a little bit of nudge from the dungeon master, David finally handed the scroll to Darren, which popped open. Basically said that Darren's stone, which is hidden somewhere within fertile farmland, is the first stone to be collected along this quest. You then each had individual chests pop open. Darren got himself a Pokeball.
Yeah, he did.
Alex got himself a gun.
Yeah,
and
I did.
David...
Alex has got a gun.
And David got himself a transporting foldable, like, pop-up boat, which I feel like that's probably going to come in handy more than you might expect.
Yeah, but when you say it next to a
they're on an
Pokeball
island,
and a
so I mean, it
gun,
makes
it's like,
sense.
come on, what would you rather have?
I was hoping for the Pokeball, to be honest.
Right?
And then you each got 500 gold pieces within the chest as well. And then Alex made an Arcana roll to open the 4th and final chest, which was swirling with fire and lava. And I had told you within the script, only a nat 20 will open the chest. And what does Alex do? He goes ahead and rolls himself a nat 20.
Yep.
That's our boy.
And within the chest was 1,500 gold pieces and 3 potions of healing, parentheses, greater, which are some pretty good potions at this level for you guys at level 3. David webbed himself up out of the hole, and then Darren captured Alex in his Pokeball and flew out with him.
Just a well-oiled machine at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Boys. Just crushing it.
And then you found your way back to the beach. You were approached by Amelia Earhart, who told you that Fred, her navigator, had returned and he had vital information for you. And then that is where we ended episode 11. But, of course, before we get to episode 12, we're going to do some dude dialogue. And I hadn't written a question for you guys yet, but I feel like this one just writes itself. Which one is your favorite Pokemon?
Ooh, okay.
And there's only 151 Pokemon. I don't care what anyone says, okay? I don't want you saying something like Flagabla blah. And name me one of the original Pokemon.
I mean, Lugia or Lugio or whatever, and Ho-Oh, those are pretty badass Pokemon too in the gold and silver. No, Scyther is my number one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Scyther is pretty badass. Alex?
I like the one that David threw out. Flagavaba, I think is his name. Is Generation 10.
The 787th Pokemon.
Gee. I mean, when I was growing up with the original 151, this feels like kind of a cop-out answer, just picking the strongest one. But I was always a Mewtwo kind of guy, just because of like the mystique behind him and the movie.
That first movie, first time I ever cried at a movie.
There's this inherent like cool factor about Mewtwo, which has stood the test of time, and that is usually the one that I would gravitate to. And I mean, I like that.
Yeah, and yeah, that movie was so good.
So good. So yeah, I think I'm going to settle on Mewtwo.
Darren?
I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here. I actually would have to say that my favorite Pokemon was a Digimon named Angel Greymon. Because I didn't watch Pokemon. I was a Digimon boy through and through. Angel Greymon. Full stop.
What was it like to be the least popular person in elementary school?
I don't know. How was it? Ooh, and
psychic damage.
It's super effective.
Oh, take 10 points of emotional damage.
Digimon the show was pretty good, though. Angemon was my favorite in that one.
Dude, the moment...
I like Digimon because they talked. They didn't just say their name, and when I was a kid, I don't know why, but it just pissed me off so much that they all just said their names. And then I watched Digimon, and they were having conversations. I was like, that's what I'd want, to be able to sit down and chill with my blank
the
mon.
moment
You know what I mean?
that, like,
Digimon was
Patamon,
badass.
I think it was, turned into Angemon right at the end of that first season. That was so fucking hype.
So epic.
Oh.
Yeah.
do you guys-
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember like all of the like offshoot shows that would happen? Like there was that one show called Fighting Foodons, where they were all just like different kinds of food.
No.
I think so, yeah.
So stupid. I loved it.
Wow. No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it was called Fighting Foodons or something stupid.
Alex acted
Fighting
like he just
futons,
blew
just a
his...
bunch of furniture.
Alex acted like he just blew his mind by unlocking a core memory, and then he was like, no, I never heard of it.
Fighting. No, I just like I'm rolling over all of the because I know that there were a bunch of Pokemon knockoffs, but the Digimon, like, could you even call that a knockoff? I just know that's like inspired by the idea, but everything else, it's like, oh my god, the Pokemon knockoffs and like the hilarity that could inspire. Like, holy shit! Also, I thought he said futon, like a couch.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I was
like
like,
a bed.
that's a whole show. Like,
Which,
Does anybody care about what my favorite Pokemon is?
Nah.
I was always
Sure.
a Charizard guy myself, and I will say this: I was also a big Pokemon card collector. Buried somewhere deep within my parents' house is a binder full of Pokemon cards from like 1995, and I know for certain I have a shiny Charizard and a shiny Zapdos in very good condition.
I had a shiny Charizard when I was a kid. We went to West Edmonton Mall, and I had like saved all my allowance because we were allowed to like buy something there. And I went to the card shop, and I bought a shiny Charizard. I think it was like $75 at that time, which was a ton of money for me.
Oh yeah,
Don't know where my Pokemon cards went. They're long gone.
The shiny first edition Charizards, if they're in like mint condition nowadays, sell for like $15,000.
Yeah. No, that thing's long gone now.
Yeah, so I'm actually back in December. I'm going to look for my old Pokemon card binder, see if I got anything there.
kids, call it fun right there.
Okay, so we're going to pick up, as we always do, right where we left off. Amelia had just run up to you, said that Fred had returned and he had crucial information, and started running down the beach towards her cave. You guys decided to run after her, and so you get to the cave, and as you enter the cave, you see a slender middle-aged man with dark hair. He's wearing a dark button-up shirt with dark pants. He's lying next to a small fire. He's bloody and bruised, and he looks at you and he says, "Well, Amelia told me she had found others, but I have to say, you weren't exactly what I was expecting. I'm guessing you gentlemen also want to get off this infernal island. Is that correct?"
I do have a boat now.
for the most part, yes.
Quite accurate. did you happen to see a chest run through here?
Oh, yeah, just 1 second. And he picks up a ball and throws it, and from behind him, Chester runs after the ball excitedly, grabs it in his mouth, and runs back to Fred, who he seems to have taken quite a liking to. I don't know exactly what this thing is, but it seems friendly
his
to
name
me.
is Chester.
That seems appropriate.
He loves a tasty coin if you have some to spare.
Well, I don't have any coin on me. Unfortunately, I've been held captive for the past few days. But if we want to get off this island, we can take that plane. She seems to be in good condition. Just some minor repairs will be needed. But unfortunately, she's out of fuel. Like I said, I was being held prisoner. Large fort just south of here. Gave me something called Abyssal Elixir with my small portions of food. Helps with the thirst, but it is extremely potent liquor. I was lucky enough that they didn't find a small pack of matches I had on me. I was able to pour some of this liquid into the lock on my cell. Burned hot enough to warp the locking mechanism, it did, and the cell popped open. I had to wait until night fell last night. I was able to make my way into the galley. There's a small opening in the floor that they used to dispose of their refuse, it seems. Just leads straight into the ocean, dumping garbage into the ocean, these folks are. Slid down there, dropped into the water below the fort, was able to swim for what felt like hours before I was far enough away from the fort to safely crawl ashore without being seen. And then, of course, I made my way back here.
That sounds like quite the tale of adventure you've been on, my friend.
It was quite harrowing, I must say, but that drink, the Abyssal Elixir, believe it would work well enough to fuel up old Bessie, it would. Tough old bird, that plane. Think she has a few more flights left in her. Only problem. Seems to be some sort of gathering going on at the fort. Over the past few days I was there, had a small window in my cell. Could see more and more ships docked offshore every day. They seem to be having a rowdy party every night as well. That's how I was able to escape. The guards were busy drinking and partying that they wouldn't do their regular patrols after dinner. Perhaps you gentlemen could use the gathering to work your way into the fort and steal some of that elixir.
I'm gonna walk towards the plane and try to repair the radio.
The radio. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Amelia Earhart, I have been doing research on this, actually had a very powerful radio. She ended up sacrificing some fuel weight, if I'm not mistaken, to put a more powerful radio inside of it. And so then Alex maybe...
A lot of good that did her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Probably could use that extra fuel by how things turned out.
Well, she actually put a bunch of fuel tanks in the passenger seats, so it actually increased her fuel capacity by 10 times the amount the plane actually could hold in its regular fuel. But Alex, oh shit, what would we call this? You know what? Make me an animal handling check.
An animal handling check for the radio?
We're going to treat this airplane, all of the mechanics within this airplane, as kind of like an animal.
Okay.
Like a mount.
Okay.
Yeah, like a mount. Exactly, David.
Well, let's go with it then. Looks like I'm going to roll an 11 on my animal handling.
And so an 11 from Alex on the animal handling check. And Alex, Fred looks over and sees what you're doing. He says, it's no use, my boy. I tried to repair that radio multiple times already since we've been here. Been here for months, it seems. And even if I can get a frequency on it from time to time, nobody seems to be responding. At this point, Amelia, who was in the corner, giving Chester some scritches in the corner, and she pipes up and she says, well, you boys are going to stand out like a sore thumb looking like that. And she looks at you, David, with a look of somewhat disgust on her face with your assless
I'm
face.
feeling real self-conscious, and I use my hands to cover my horns.
I was referring more to
The horns on your head?
But there it is. What are we into this one?
17 minutes. It was 11 and
We
a
can do
half
better.
last time.
We can do better. We can do hornier.
But no, David, I believe she was referring to your assless chaps and Speedo.
Oh, yeah, that.
the assless chat.
And she says, in my exploration of the island, I've gathered quite a few garments. I figured, we could use them for warmth or even as fuel for a little fire if it came to that. So please, take a look and find something you think will fit and perhaps help you blend in at that large gathering at the fort. And she opens a large trunk full of clothes. And now I will give you boys free rein to dress yourselves however you would like, but you have to look like pirates.
Just for table speak and anybody imagining this entire thing, this is going to be a dressing montage to the Marky Mark song, Good Vibration.
Oh, Marky Mark.
All right, so David, seeing as how we just mentioned your assless chaps, what do you replace them with?
Well, what kind of pants do pirates even wear? I can't even think
Ass
of pirate
chaps,
pants.
for sure.
Ass chaps, yeah.
Full ass chaps. Yeah.
I feel like pirates wear a lot of like leather.
All right. I'm going to get some, I see some somewhat skinny, ripped leather pants. Kind of, got the knees ripped out, looking all metal and shit.
And what do you wear on your torso?
Well, I'm still going to wear my Slayer patch.
Yeah.
For sure. That's got to stay on there. That's like a chain shirt, or is it like a vest?
It's like a chainmail shirt, so it would basically go under your undergarments or under your clothes if you wanted it to.
Okay. All right. Yeah, then I'll just find maybe kind of like a longer, kind of worn down trench coat kind of thing.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. And Darren.
I'm going to rummage through, and I'm going to find myself... first, I'm going to look over to Fred and just... my man, do you have any bits of string or any type of thing of that sort?
Well, you should be able to find whatever you need in that trunk. Amelia's done quite a bit of collecting while we've been here.
Perfect. Thank you. I turn back to the trunk. I grab myself a little pair of pants as well, like kind of those leather ones with like the corset crisscross, how they tie in the front. Slap those on. I'm going to remain shirtless. I'm going to pick up some dirt off the ground and just kind of cover my top half in it. And then I'm going to put on just kind of like a tattered, one of those like pirate shirts, like the puffy shirt from Seinfeld. Then I'm going to also dirty up so I look very weathered. And then I'm going to take some string and I'm going to take 5 teeth out of my jar of troll teeth, and I'm going to make a necklace out of it.
Cool. I like that. And then Alex.
I am going to rummage... Wait, Alex is gone again. I'm going to rummage through the treasure chest, and I'm going to find a eye patch. I'm going to take that out and put it on. Then I'm going to find myself a nice big fake mustache and fake beard and put that on. And I think I'm going to also pull out a parrot, and I'm going to wring it out like an old hat and then put it on my shoulder. And then I'm going to take out a pirate hat, which is just one size too big, and pop it on, and then I'll be done.
All right. I like it. Alex looks a bit ridiculous, but I think you'll probably blend in just well.
So you have like a fake parrot, like you work at Earl's? Like on your...
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, so then Amelia looks at you guys and she says, "You're also going to need more fuel than I think you can carry by yourselves. Not to mention, it's going to look very odd if you're spotted carrying large barrels of their prized drink out of camp. Lucky for you, I came across this odd bag on the other side of the island. It appears to be more than it appears." And David, she hands it to you. And David, you can add into your inventory a bag of holding.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm
Finally
pretty
with a
sure we
bag of
put stuff
holding.
in the boat and then fold the boat back up, too.
Oh, yeah, the boat goes in the bag for sure.
Bag of holding. Hell yeah.
Bagception.
Now,
A bag within a bag within another bag.
Now, gentlemen, nightfall will be upon us in a few short hours. From what Fred has told us, it sounds like those rabble-rousers, those ne'er-do-wells, will be engaging in revelry by then. Seems like it would be a good time for you to slip in and join the festivities.
Oh, my is right, my friend.
So I feel,
I hope they like some metal.
What time, how long are we away from this party? A short rest before we go to recover some of these hit points we took from the tumble down the stairs and the dilly-dads with those chests the other day would probably come in handy. For me, anyway. I have 12 of 20 of my health points.
That shouldn't be an issue. It's only about an hour and a half's walk to the fortress, and sundown, and should be coming in about 3 hours.
Excellent. I suggest we take a short rest.
Yeah, so you guys can take a short rest here. You can play with Chester. You can refine your pirate outfits so everybody can roll some recovery hit die.
My pants aren't quite ripped enough, so while I'm resting, I'm ripping them a little bit more.
6 plus 6, so I get 12.
Nice. And then, Alex, did you roll some hit die?
I
Or
did. It
HP
looks
die?
like I rolled a 10. I only needed 4, though.
Alex?
Am I gone again? Yeah.
Okay, perfect. But you're back up.
Yep.
You're back
I got
up to
the
full.
full,
Perfect. And David, I don't think you took any damage. Oh, no, you did take some damage from that
I
fall.
did, yeah.
But you're back up to full now?
Yeah. Yeah, I only took 4 damage.
And so you guys take a long rest, and then do you head towards the fort?
I think we've got
Is it
all
just
the
the
supplies.
three of us, or is Amelia planning on accompanying us?
No, I think I'll stay here and tend to Fred. He's not doing too well at the moment, so I need to make sure he's all right. And, well, Chester hopefully can keep us company, if that's okay with you, gentlemen.
Yes, I go give Chester a kiss on the lid.
I thought you were going to say lips.
Tongues.
I open mouth kiss the treasure chest.
I'm gonna lean down to Chester. I'm gonna pat him a couple times, like, take good care of Fred while we're gone, Chester.
And he gives you a big, scoopy lick across the face.
And I open mouth kiss the treasure chest.
Yeah.
Things are getting a little weird.
All right, so you guys make your way down the beach. It's a beautiful evening. It's a tropical island. The sun is setting. If it wasn't for your current situation, you guys might actually be, like, thinking this is a nice place to have a little vacation. But as you make your way down the beach, the fortress comes into view, and you can see that in front of the fortress, I will say the fortress is very old-looking, like an old pirate fortress, and it's a little bit off the coast, and the only way connecting it to the mainland seems to be a drawbridge that is currently down. The drawbridge seems to have heavily armed guards on it, and surrounding outside the drawbridge, all around it, looks like a giant festival ground. There's tents, there's people milling about, there's loud music going, there's loud revelry happening, and you guys approach the party that is happening. Nobody pays you much mind until David, somebody bumps into you, spills his drink all over you, turns to you and says, "Watch where you're going, you bilge-sucking barnacle."
I turn around and I look at him. I whip out my guitar and I say, "Do you have any idea who I am?"
I don't care who you are. You spilled my drink. You owe me a new one.
Punch him in the mouth.
All right, roll me an unarmed strike.
A pirate's life for me.
Right? You gotta. It's like prison. You gotta stand up for yourself.
That's fair. That's fair.
How do you do an unarmed strike? Here we go. It'll be a 12.
All right, so you pop this guy in the mouth. It isn't the strongest of punches, but it's enough that it knocks him down. And he turns to look at you as he gets off, and he says, "I challenge you
Gets off.
to a duel shake." And everybody gets quiet. The whole festival ground, almost like there's a record scratch, and everybody gets quiet. And then all of a sudden, everyone in unison starts chanting, "Duel shake! Duel shake! Duel shake!" And you see basically the entire party ground filtering into a giant, almost circus-like looking tent. And he says, "Follow me to the dirt of the dual shank if you aren't a yellow-bellied codpiece."
Oh, I'm so for it. I'm ready to go.
And so
I tune my guitar.
you move into this giant circus-looking tent, which seems to be larger on the inside than it is on the outside. And it's basically a large medieval arena. And Alex and Darren, do you guys do anything as you're following David into this tent?
Do I see any tankards of ale or anything around that I can grab? I'm gonna take in this show, man. I'm gonna grab me a drink and follow them in as I'm walking behind David, like rubbing his shoulder, like, "You got this, man."
Yeah,
Tight man.
we'll say that there's just like a large bench of pre-poured tankers as you enter the tent.
Terrific.
Alex, anything you'd like to do?
Okay, so first off, I'm going to grab grab myself a cup of ale. I'm going to cut a lime in half. I'm going to pop one half inside of the ale.
Okay.
And then I would like to investigate my surroundings within the tent, if I can.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I'm looking around the tent for, first, an escape route if I need it, and secondly, I'm investigating the nature of the people inside of the tent.
Okay, cool. Roll me an investigation.
All right, one investigation coming up, and I got a 9. Just a 9.
So you see basically The only exit is the one you just came in, and the people within this arena, there's hundreds of them, and they look like pirates of all different races. You see giant humanoid birds, you see giant humanoid cats, you see humans, you see orcs, you see elves. Basically all races of D&D, all with, outfitted like pirates. And as the three of you walk in, you see in the middle of this arena is kind of like a pile of dirt elevated above the regular ground, and it's flattened off to make basically a diameter of 20? Or would that be a circumference, like 20 feet wide, basically?
Circumference.
A circle of dirt, basically 20 feet wide. And David, you now see the guy that you punched in the face is a large half-orc, and he's taken off his shirt, he's dropped his sword and all of his weapons, and he's vamping the crowd, arms in the air, trying to get them, cheering for him, as he then turns and looks at you, points at you, and he says,
"Do you think you can take me on?"
And I kind of like raise my hands out to the sides, kind of like, across, and I kind of like spin around to kind of like pump up the crowd, and I drop my fucking trench coat to the ground, exposing my Slayer patch right at him.
Ooh, okay. I like that. And so, David, the way this is going to work, you're not going to have any weapons on you. This is a straight fist fight, basically. The rules of Dual Shank. Primitive boxing ring, it looks like I had mentioned, just basically a mound of dirt. It's in a circular, kind of like sumo wrestling type deal. Elevated platform, no ropes around it. Last man standing inside the ring is the winner. So there has to be one person thrown off this pile of dirt. Like I said, no weapons. And so as you approach...
Before he walks up onto the pit, as I'm still rubbing his shoulder with my beard, I whisper in his ear, "Sweep the leg, Johnny."
Wait.
While everyone's kind of like getting all pumped up, I want to grab a little handful of dirt and put it in my pocket.
Pocket sand.
Yeah! Dude.
I love it. Roll me a deception check with advantage, just because,
I would like to help create a wall if I notice he's doing that. Can I aid him in any way?
Well, I would say any kind of physical illusion or anything that you conjure would draw more attention to him.
More, I would want to stand in front of him to block the half-orc's view of him pocket sanding, to maybe give him advantage. If not, that's cool, but if there's a way I can aid him to success.
Well, I was already going to give him advantage on the roll just because everybody's kind of rowdy and drunk, and right now most of them are looking at the other orc. So roll me a deception check, David, with advantage.
Okay, well, the first one is 22.
Nailed it.
Yep.
And the next one's a 12, so I think I'm going to go for the 22.
Yeah, okay. You managed to grab a handful of dirt, put it in your pocket, and you approach the ring. Do you climb up into it?
Don't climb into it.
I do. And I do like Rey Mysterio. I fucking kind of go in sideways and flick my way through.
I like that. Okay, what?
I wait.
I wanted to. I wanted to help out as well. If I'm around, I've got an idea too, because I only put half of the lime in my drink, so I still have half a lime in my hand.
Some lime juice in the sand.
Yeah.
Pocket lime.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, I'll say
Citricize that sand.
I'll say that with that 22 deception, you can grab that lime from Alex and put it in your other pocket.
Giving him half a lime so we can squeeze it in an eye or something.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Now go do your flippy thing.
And so as you Rey Mysterio your way onto the ring, oh, you know what? Make me a performance check.
Oh, this is my bag right there.
Hopefully.
Not this time. That's a crit fail.
No, and it's still an 8 with a crit fail? Jesus.
Yeah, I get a +7 in my performance.
All right, well,
Good Lord.
let's say just because we're not in combat, it's not a crit fail, but just an 8. And you kind of just you try to do it, but as you try to slide on, you only get about halfway onto the platform, so your legs are still sticking out the others, and kind of flopping around, and then you kind of wet fish your way onto the rest of the platform, and you hear some laughter in the crowd as you do this.
Not my finest of moments.
And then the crowd quiets down, and you see a tall, long-haired pirate entering the tent from an elevated platform above the rest of the arena, and he says, "You all know me. You all know I do not accept cheats or cowards. You know the rules. No weapons. No steel weapons, no magic. Last man standing on the platform is the winner. The winner can take one item from the loser. Any one item. Refusal by the loser to hand over the item will not be tolerated. He claps his hands together, and the crowd all jumps to their feet and starts yelling, "Dual shake! Dual shake!" And David, Alex, and Darren, I want you all to roll me initiative, because Darren and Alex, if you would like to try and do some deception to help David, you're more than welcome to. So everybody roll me initiative.
Maybe an 8.
I got a 7, yeah.
Okay, and Alex with the 7, and then the other guy's going to roll, and he rolls a 5. Jesus. Okay, so, Darren, is there anything you would like to do kind of quietly?
Would you say everyone in the camp is at this fight right now?
Pretty much, yeah. This seems to you like this is, like I said, when the guy said it to David, the whole camp got quiet and then got really excited about what is happening here. So yeah, I would say most of, if not all, of the attendees are in this tent.
I think I'm going to pretend I need to take a shit, and I'm going to see if I can find the storage of this fuel that we're here to find while everyone is distracted with the
Darren,
fight.
And I can see his thought process, and I kind of like use my eyes to kind of like point at my trench coat that's laying on the ground on the outside of the ring, kind of trying to let him know that that's where the bag is. It's in my pocket.
Okay, I go, okay, yeah. So I'm going to walk over to, like, look up at Devad and basically be like, "You've got this, my friend, you've got this, my friend." And I smack the mat a couple of times, and on the second smack, I grab his trench coat, and I look back at Sir Alex of Kerrigan and say, "Oh, that mead went right through me, my friend. I must take a shit." And I just slowly start to grab the trench coat, put it on as if it's mine, and then slowly just kind of like, normally, not anything out of the ordinary, go to pretend I'm going to take a shit and leave the tent.
I'm going to loudly cheers him with my drink, and then I'm going to point up at Devad and try to divert attention away from Doradius as he's doing this.
Love it.
All right, Darren, roll me in if it's investigation. Alex, roll me, let's call it a persuasion.
Persuasion, okay.
7.
5. And Alex rolls a 5.
Not the best.
So, Darren, I will say this, you're able to just leave the tent. It doesn't seem suspicious at all. Alex doesn't really persuade many people to be looking up at David, because most of them already are. But with your 7 investigation, I will say that you can see that basically all the attendees are within the tent, but there are still quite a number of armed guards milling about on patrol.
Okay, but still the idea of a pirate wandering around the camp drunkenly wouldn't be out of the ordinary.
Would not draw attention, no.
Yeah, okay, so me just acting wasted with my mead, just kind of like walking out of the tent, and if I see a guard, I'm just like, my boys, and I just kind of keep stumbling around, surveying to see if I can find a tent that looks like it's where they store that shit.
Roll me another investigation.
Hopefully better than a fucking 7. 13.
It's a little better.
13, you see there's one large main drinking tent right outside the drawbridge from the castle, and you can see kind of like a piping system that runs directly into the castle, and then from the castle to this tent, and it seems like it's like a beer tap of some sort.
And what was the name of the stuff we're looking for again?
Abyssal Elixir.
Abyssal Elixir. Okay, I'm going to stumble towards that tent.
Perfect. We'll pick up with you in just a little bit. So let's get to the fight. David, you outrolled him on initiative. And so what would you like to do? You're both basically standing in the middle of this platform about 5 feet away from each other. Like I mentioned, it was about 20 feet wide. And you have to get him out of this off this platform before he does that to you.
Okay. And is there like a ring that happens, or are we just good to just start duking her out now?
Like I said, the big pirate captain or whatever that entered clapped his hands, and everybody jumped up and started basically cheering you on.
All right, my hands are in my pocket still, and before I take them out, my pocket with the lime, I'm gonna squeeze it to try and get some of the juice in my fist and on my hand, just kind of like coating it a little bit.
Okay,
And then I'm gonna raise my dukes up,
I like that.
and I'm gonna go for a punch in the eye.
So good.
You're good.
So
All right, roll me an unarmed
Fucking
strike.
lime juice punch.
That's a crit fail.
No. And so you go.
What?
And so you,
It was on the cusp of 13. That dice was like teetering there for a second.
And so you go to throw the first punch, and you telegraph this punch from the very beginning, and he sees it coming, blocks it with one hand, and then he's going to respond by throwing a punch of his own. And he's going to roll, what is your AC, a 15? He rolls a 9. So how do you dodge out of the way of this punch?
I just do a little matrix kind of like bend backwards out of the way.
Cool. And so the crowd gets really into it because there was just a quick exchange of blows. Both fighters able to dodge, seem like they're a bit equal right now. So the crowd is thinking they're in for a good fight. And David, what do you want to do now?
So can I try to let out a deep guttural sound to try and intimidate him, to try and make him have like disadvantage or be a little scared of me or anything like that? Just kind of instill some fear in him.
Sure. I'll say you could use that as a bonus action to try and intimidate him.
All right, I'm gonna fucking let out a nice guttural, and it's average. It's an 11. That's a pop punk.
Yeah, so you scream and you yell, but it just seems like you're just trying to pump yourself up, and it doesn't seem like it affects him.
All right, and I'm gonna go for I'm gonna try to kick him in the knee.
Okay, yeah, roll me a unarmed strike.
These rolls, man, 8.
And so you go to kick him in the knee, and he just kind of lifts his leg to avoid it. And as he lifts his leg, your foot comes right down below his foot, which is lifted in the air, and he's going to try and stomp on your foot. And he rolls a 15. And and your armor class is 15, right? Yeah, so he comes down, he stomps directly on top of your foot. And I want you to take...
It's got to beat my armor class, though, doesn't it?
Nope, it's just got to meet it.
No.
That's okay. He does 1 point of damage as he stomps down on your foot.
Ow. My pinky toe.
And then, Alex, is there anything you can do to try and help your compadre within the ring?
I think I'm just gonna point to the opponent's knee and go, try and kick him in the knee.
I'll try again.
Okay, so
reset.
David, your foot is currently basically under his foot, so I'll say you'll have to try and kick with your other leg this time. So give me another unarmed strike.
You know what I'm going to do instead? Since he's got my foot pinned, I'm going to use my head and go in for a headbutt with my horns. You know, that's not cheating. It's part of me. I'm headbutting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Roll me an unarmed strike.
Do I get, since I'm using horns, do I get any advantage on that?
No.
Where are the try, boys? It'll be a 14.
Okay.
There it is.
All right, so
Nice boy.
inspired by the pain you just felt in your pinky toe, you look at him and you smack him hard with your horns. Cracks his nose and blood starts spewing out of his nose. So an unarmed strike, roll me some damage.
That's, damn it, just a 1.
Oh, okay, so you crack open his nose and he kind of stumbles back like, let's say 5 feet, recoiling from the pain. And then he's going to take that 5 feet and kind of run at you and try to spear you. And he's going to roll... Oh, he rolled a crit fail. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Can I, since he failed, can I do kind of like a sweep out of the side and use my hands to kind of like guide him past me to try and like fall out of the ring, trying to like guide him out the other way?
Yes, absolutely.
Like a,
Let's say make me a strength check.
that's a 5.
Okay, so with the 5, you aren't able to throw him out of the ring, but seeing as how he did roll a crit fail, you're able to just kind of step out of the way and push him in the back as he goes by, and he falls face first against the far edge of the ring. It is now your turn, but we're going to cut back to Darren wandering around drunkenly outside.
So am I kind of close to that tent now?
Yeah, let's say you're in the tent, you're maybe just milling about. The guards think you're looking for another drink or something.
Yeah, okay, so same kind of thing. So I'm trying to find, and this is the thing that you said, it seems like it's like feeding the castle, and that maybe it's an important tent that stuff we're looking for might be?
Well, maybe it wasn't descriptive enough. It was the drinking tent with a pipe coming from the castle, and then the pipe attaches to what looks like a primitive, a beer nozzle within the tent behind the bar.
I'm gonna go fill my tankard from that nozzle and just investigate around the room while I'm doing it. Just literally investigating to find some of this shit that we need.
Okay, so you want to just...
Trying to look nonchalant.
You want to basically take a draft from the tap.
Yeah, just to keep up appearances,
Well, you crank down on the tap, nothing comes out.
Oh. Now I would like to investigate that cask.
What cask?
Well, the tap and everything, and find, is it empty or is it like more of a there for show?
Oh, well, I mean the pipe is coming straight from the castle. So, roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Nat 20.
Cool. You notice that about halfway between the castle and the tent, and I'll say this pipe is running right along the drawbridge. There seems to be some sort of valve there.
Runs along to the drawbridge under it or above it?
Along the side of it.
Along the side of it. Okay.
And you do see that there are a number of guards on the drawbridge.
Okay, hang on. I need to look in my backpack for a second. I have rope in there. If I were to... This is me thinking to myself from what I can see and trying to deduce a plan. Would a person be able to tie a slip knot around that pipe and shimmy across it to that valve without the guards seeing me?
No, it's like directly next to the drawbridge. It'd be like... They're right there. They can see everything going on.
Okay.
My ears perk up. Did someone say Slipknot?
Yeah, right. Does that valve appear to be something of like note that I would probably want to head towards, or that we will want to head towards at some point?
It just seems like that is a valve that turns on and off the flow of whatever comes out of this tap.
Okay, I'm gonna drunkenly then stumble towards those guards and just be, the ale seems to be off, my boys.
Don't worry, it'll be back on once the event is done and we can get the bartender back behind the bar. There's ale within the tent. Should see it on your way in.
Can I try a perception check to persuade one of them to turn it on? Just be like, oh, but fresh from the pipe, there is no better, my friends.
Sure, roll me a persuasion.
Okay. Come on. 12.
He looks at you and he says, "Not right now, my boy. Don't worry, it'll just be a few more minutes."
I stumble back and I grab a fresh tankard of ale. And is there anything else of note in the camp that I can investigate to see if I should maybe go check out while I have this kind of free cover of stealth?
Well, with that 25 investigation and that 20, I will say that basically you just see that it's a large, there's a large drinking tent. There looks to be a large, eating tent where there's plates of already eaten food. And then around the camp, there's basically just small tents that look like they probably belong to the attendees.
Okay, so really nothing else that would say that it's going to be that stuff we're looking for in this area anyway?
Yeah, no.
Or like a way into the castle that isn't the drawbridge or something like that?
Nothing that you could see, no.
Okay. I'm going to head back towards the tent, I suppose.
So as you walk into the tent, you get there just in time to see David headbutt this guy. The guy tried to spear David, and David throws him to the side of the ring, and we'll get back to the fight. David, he is face down next to the edge of the ring. What would you like to do?
All right, so since he's kind of dick down in the dirt right now, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of performance here and kind of like hype the crowd up, kind of like look around. I'm going to tap my elbow a little bit and give this guy the people's elbow.
Nice. Okay, first of all, I want you to make me a performance check.
Love that.
Oh, okay. David rolls a 22 on his performance.
Ooh. Oh, God, he's going to hit
Better.
it. The most electrifying move in sports entertainment.
And
it doesn't matter what you...
And so, David, I will say with a 22, I will give you advantage on your next unarmed strike to try and knock this guy out of the arena.
So the first one was an 8. Second one's... There we go, 16.
All right.
Nice.
So you come down with your elbow right on the back of his head, and you hit him so hard. His head was kind of, like I said, right next to the edge of this arena, and you hit him on the back of the head so hard that it almost acts like a lever, and it pops his legs up into the air, and he rolls off the edge of the arena unconscious on the floor below, and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
And then the long-haired elf at the top says, "Choose your prize, Mr. Winner." And so you can go ahead and loot his body for whatever you would like, and I'll give you some options here.
Okay.
So on his body, you find a ring of feather falling. So basically, you can jump from great heights without taking damage.
Ooh, okay.
This is a D&D favorite. You find an alchemy jug.
What's that bad boy do?
Here, let me see. Wondrous item. This ceramic jug appears to be able to hold a gallon of liquid and weighs 12 pounds, whether full or empty. Sloshing sounds can be heard from within the jug when it is shaken, even if the jug is empty. You can use an action and name one liquid from the table below to cause the jug to produce the chosen liquid. Afterward, you can uncork the jug as an action and pour that liquid out, up to 2 gallons per minute. Once the jug starts producing a liquid, it can't produce a different one, and your options would be acid, basic poison, beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, fresh water, salt water, or wine.
Okay. Sounds pretty sweet.
The chime of opening is another option for you.
What's that bad boy do?
And this hollow metal tube measures about 1 foot long and weighs 1 pound. You can strike it as an action, pointing it at an object within 120 feet of you that can be opened, such as a door, lid, or lock. The chime issues a clear tone, and one lock or latch on the object opens unless the sound can't reach the object. If no locks or latches remain, the object itself opens. So basically, this is pointed at something and it'll unlock. This chime can be used 10 times. After the 10th time, it cracks and becomes useless. And then you've also got one more, the Dust of Disappearance, which is found in a small packet. This powder resembles very fine sand. There's enough of it for one use. When you use an action to throw the dust into the air, you and each creature and object within 10 feet of you become invisible for 2d4 minutes. The duration is the same for all subjects, and the dust is consumed when its magic takes effect. If a creature is affected by the dust, attacks, or casts a spell, the invisibility ends for that creature.
All these are real nice options, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of want the Ring of Feather Falling.
Perfect. So you can add Ring of Feather Falling to your inventory, which means, you descend, I believe, at like 10 feet every 5 seconds or something. It makes you float down, basically.
Descend 60 feet per round, but take no damage from falling.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, between that and my arachnid armlet, I could do some sweet acrobatics.
That's
Absolutely.
cool. So, David, you claim your prize, and as everybody's filtering out of the arena, they're giving you, a pat on the back, giving you little punches on the arm, saying, good job, way to go. And they all filter back, basically, to the drinking tent and continue the party.
I'm going to hand No-Tab his jacket back and fill the guys in that I basically discovered nothing on my quest.
I got a cool ring, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I wonder if that jug could have just produced the fuel we soaked.
Questions for another day.
No, it only makes mayonnaise and beer.
That's true.
So if you guys want, you can head back to the tent. You can talk to pirates, find out what's going on about this festival, and just have a good time. It's up to you.
Well, yeah, I guess
I'm curious if they've turned that valve back on.
And as you walk outside the tent, you see there's a bit of a light up towards that valve, but it does seem like the beer is flowing once again, or rather the elixir is flowing once again, I should say.
Chuckle to myself and just kind of, so I've discovered nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost like God didn't want you to cheat your way out of this one.
It's almost like you didn't want me to figure it out, man.
Railroaded once again.
Yeah, I really thought I was doing something sweet there. Like I was we're gonna be in 2 different areas getting shit done. Nothing. I found out that beer comes from a pipe.
So this is some kind of festival, right? We don't really know the nature of the festival yet.
No, you do not.
I feel like we should probably ask around.
Yeah, do some talking.
Okay, well,
Perfect.
I think I'm going to, just find the nearest pirate close to me and try to inquire for some information. Be like, say, good sir, what seems to be the celebration tonight?
Well, okay, so you approach basically what is a large humanoid cat. It basically looks like a black panther.
There we
but
go, yep.
Walks on two legs, has, opposable thumbs so it can hold on to a tankard. And it says, how have you gotten here without knowing what's going on?
Yeah, we kind of made our way in with the wind, I guess.
Ah, well, that is how a ship sails, of course. Well,
I
this is the
lean over to the
gathering.
guys and I wink and I go, got him.
Well, this is the gathering of the Abyssal captains, it is. The 5 high captains, highest order of pirates. Each control their own fleet of ships, obviously. A gathering happens seldom. Unless there needs to be an additional Abyssal captain voted in, and that's why we're here, to initiate the newest and the 6th Abyssal captain. That's going to happen tomorrow, and, anybody can volunteer for the position, and it's a popularity contest, so...
If I might, have you ever heard the name of Caesar Empty Bottles? Do you perchance know if he's here?
I have heard that name before. I don't know if he's here. Haven't encountered him yet, though.
Can I just search the crowd and see? Because we haven't seen him since our ship sank. And I'm curious if anyone from the boat is here.
Sure. Roll me a investigation check.
That is a 11.
You do not see anybody you recognize.
Okay, I just put my head down and keep sipping my tankard of ale.
And so this large Black Panther continues on. He's like, of course, the captains, you got Captain Icewing, he's White Dragonborn. Pretty cruel, actually. Treats his prisoners and civilians awfully. You don't want to cross that guy, trust me. And of course, we got the half-orc lady, only female captain. She enjoys blowing things up just for the fun of it. Of course,
Bet she does.
but of course, blowing things up comes with a price, and that's why they call her One-Legged Debbie.
The triumphant
That
return.
one-legged Debbie.
And of course, you got Ricky Pocket Saw. He's a human guy, known for his signature serrated dagger that he uses to cut the ears off his enemies. Dries those ears in the sun and then wears them on a necklace around his neck. And then, of course, you got Captain Uton Crouton. And don't let the name fool you. Ruthless elven captain, expert at sneaking up on unsuspecting ships in the night. He's really good at it. Takes him over without firing a single shot. His success at taking ships is the reason the pirate ranks have grown so much. Rather than killing the occupants of the ships he takes over, he's usually able to convince them to join his fleet. And of course, they're happy to reap the bounties they take. So he's recruited so many new ships that we gotta vote in a new captain. Darren, make me a perception check.
Oh, all right. My rolls have been shit, so here we go. Hot rolls, hot totsy, 16.
And so with the 16, Darren, you notice there's something rubbing up against your leg.
Bad. I look down to what's caressing.
And there's a very small kitten rubbing up against your leg.
Oh my god, I bend down and I pick it up and cradle it and just start smooching its forehead.
And it just starts licking your face. And
Oh my god, I have a cat.
make me another perception check.
Oh, okay. Come on, hot dice. Not as hot. 9.
That's not too bad. You notice he's wearing a collar, and the collar has a little name tag that says, "If I found you, you can trust me."
Boys, that's mighty suspicious.
All right. Mighty suspicious, but I, you know how cats always want to, like, when they're kittens especially, always want to be on, like, your shoulder and the back of your neck, just, like, holding on? I just take the kitten and put it up there, like a pirate would have a parrot, but I just have that adorable little kitten.
Perfect. Well,
Hanging out.
I will say this, Darren, you now have a familiar.
Ooh, yes, okay.
And so I want you to describe how this kitty looks and what its name is.
Oh, okay. So it is a tortoiseshell type cat, which is like usually it's like kind of a copper orange and black patterning on it, but instead of the copper orange, it's a more red kind of darkness, and its eyes are emerald green, very bright, very noticeable. And its name is going to be Fleetwood.
Fleetwood. I like that.
I like that.
Chester and Fleetwood. Great combination.
Yeah. Absolutely love that.
And so now, Darren, it's just like, it's kind of like crawling back and forth along your shoulders and along your neck and just kind of making biscuits on the top of your head now. All right, so you guys have now found out what's going on with this pirate party that you have attended. And Darren, you have received a familiar, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want you guys to take Chester with you, because I knew this was going to happen.
Now we have 2.
And so as the party continues on into the evening, you guys are drinking, having a good time. You 3 get approached by a heavily armed elven pirate who comes up to the 3 of you and he says,
"You 3, Captain Crouton wants a word."
I fill up my tankard before following him, I suppose.
I also fill up my tankard.
E3.
and so this pirate, tall elven fellow, Alex, you can relate.
Yep.
He leads you across the drawbridge, past the guards you had interacted with earlier, Darren, and into the main courtyard of the fortress. And you are taken into a large tent in the far corner of the courtyard on kind of like a little patio overlooking the ocean. And you enter the tent, and Captain Crouton turns around and he says, "Thank you, Jiraiya. I shall take it from here." And Jiraiya, the guard who escorted you, leaves the tent, closes the door behind him, and the pirate captain looks at you and says, "Gentlemen, I am Uton Crouton. Captain Uton Crouton. And I
stifle a little chuckle with my mouth.
and I know who you are and what your quest is."
Okay.
What do you mean?
"I know you seek the stones in order to get home. You are not of this realm."
How did you come across this, Uton?
And he looks each of you up and down with a hard look on his face. And then you see his face kind of soften. He says, "I am a member of a secret order known as the Mithrantians. I'm the oldest member of the order and have been watching over the stones for hundreds of years."
You know where the stones are?
"The stones you seek are known only to a few, and they are known as the Mithrantium shards. Their locations are a well-kept secret, and this ancient order I am a part of is responsible for protecting them. There are few Mithrantians like myself, but if you encounter them, they will know you as soon as they see you. We are sworn to protect the shards and their secrets. This is why I've chosen this island for my home, so I could keep close watch on the sacred scroll. That scroll is the first step in your long journey ahead. A journey that you must undertake yourselves, if you understand. Although my order has sworn to protect the stones, we have also sworn to intervene or aid as little as possible once the chosen ones have revealed themselves and their quest has began. For it is a quest that you must prove your worthiness to the stones themselves. Do you have any questions?"
Do you know which way we go to get the first?
"The information and the location of the stones is something I possess, but it is something you will have to figure out on your own. You have the scroll."
You know, there's something that's been on my mind since we've gotten to this island that has quite bothered me, and I need to know the answer. Is one-legged Debbie single? This...
About to make a three-legged Debbie, am I right?
That's where we'll end the episode. No, I'm just kidding. Trust me, my boy, you do not want to go there.
Oh, I think I do.
Any other questions that are relevant to the quest?
If I may, Mr. Crouton, if you do not mind me calling you that, We are obviously adventurers, and this seems like it is quite a perilous journey where we will be crossing many kilometers and visiting many a site. And we've heard from some of your compatriots here that you've amassed quite the pirate army. Would we perhaps be able to rent a ship for our journey?
I may be able to arrange something, but you will not be able to take one from this island without arousing suspicion.
I kind of nudged Darren on the arm and
course.
pulled my little ship box in my hand.
Yes, but that could be a second ship. We could have 2 pirate ships. I whisper back at him.
I put it back in
Where
the pocket.
would you call your home port?
The hell was the place called? Rockwood?
I do believe Rockwhite.
Ah, I know it well. I will see what I can do and try to have it arrange for a ship to meet you there.
And I do believe it's been many a day since we passed your adamantine armor.
yes.
Sir Alex was probably completed by now as well.
I should hope so. That could come in handy. I have another question for Mr. Crouton. Are we in any immediate danger on this island?
If you are discovered by some of the more unsavory pirates to not in fact be pirates, you could be indeed, absolutely.
Oh my. So,
Well, what is a pirate but a feeling?
Elaborate on not quite pirate.
Well, everybody on this island came on a ship. Everyone on this island is a part of a crew. You 3 are the ones that are not,
I mean, we're a crew.
Ah,
without a ship.
we are a crew.
we arrived
Now.
on
Well,
the
but not for
the
long.
Never Sinks. You may be familiar with it. There's been at least 4. Yes.
The 4th rendition of the famous ship, of course.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, I will say this. You're going to have to find your own way off this island. I cannot help you with that part of your journey.
Could you maybe help us get some Abyssal Elixir?
Well, that I could do.
Well, there we go.
This is, after all, my fort, and the Abyssal Elixir is my creation. It is a quite popular drink among the pirates under my command, and whenever one of these meetings happens, it always shifts pirate forts depending on which pirate captain volunteers his services, and so I have brewed quite a bit of it in anticipation of this gathering. And so he walks over to a chest in the corner of this tent, opens it up, and he pulls what looks like 2 10-liter barrels out.
Barrels.
And he says, it's going to look a tad suspicious if you try and carry these out of the fortress, however. It will draw attention.
I kind of nudged Darren.
I look... Yeah, same minds, buddy. Same minds, buddy. He doesn't need to say a word, the same thing. My eyes, game recognize game, and I just give him a little nod. And I look back at Crouton and say, well, we may have devised a way we could handle this.
How is that?
Trade secret, I say we dare keep, just in case it were to get out. We don't want any of the unsavories to maybe get a sniffing of our plans.
Okay, so, well, he'll hand 1 barrel to David and 1 barrel to Darren. And he says, Jiraiya will show you back to the party. He is one of my most trusted servants. However, do not, I will say again, do not reveal the order of Mithrantians. Do not reveal your journey to anyone you do not trust. You are not the only ones who seek the stones. There are dark forces at work that are always seeking to find them. I'm sure you've been told they hold an immense amount of magical power. Possessing just one can turn even the most unskilled magic user into a powerful entity. And I fear now that you have arrived and have started the ancient prophecy. You, the chosen ones, have started this ancient prophecy. I fear that those evil forces are working even harder to retrieve the stones before you find them.
No evil force will work as hard as us.
Aye.
Whatever it is you're going to do with those barrels of elixir, make sure you do it before you exit the fortress as not to draw attention to yourselves. And he claps his hands twice, and Jiraiya re-enters the tent and beckons you to leave.
Orderinius.
Jiraiya, my good man, if we could just have one more moment alone, we just have to finish a quick conversation we were having. If you could just wait outside for a moment.
Your mouse.
Jiraiya makes eye contact with Captain Crouton. God, I'm so happy I came up with that name.
Yeah, that's good.
And Captain Crouton just gives him kind of a knowing nod, and Jiraiya closes the tent once again.
I look at David and I just inflate that dinghy, my friend.
Wait. I'm going to approach Captain Crouton, and I'm going to take a knee, like I'm, bowing down, and then I'm going to pull out a lime from my backpack and give him a lime.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, for trying times.
He grabs the lime, gives it a bit of a confused look, walks over to a table, pulls out a knife, slices up the lime, drops a piece in 3 tankards, hands you each a tankard, and says,
Nice.
"Gentlemen, to your health and to your quest." And he holds up a glass to cheers you.
Oh, I'm drinking.
A few Bud Light limes,
Yes.
boys. Drink them. David,
Well, I was gonna.
I think you know exactly what we want to try.
The
here.
same thing, but I'm pretty sure you still have my bag of holding.
No, I gave you the
it's in
trench
your
coat
pockets?
back after you
All
got out of the ring.
I pull out the bag of holding.
Yeah. My idea was that we inflate the boat in this room, put those barrels in the boats, compress the boat back into its tinier packaging, and then put it in the bag of holding.
I like your idea better, to be honest. That's a great idea.
Okay, so part of the... this is going to be fun. Part of that boat, David, is you have to speak a command word to turn it into a small boat, or a command word to turn it into a big boat. So what is the command word for the small boat, and what is the command word for the big boat?
Okay, small boat, big boat. I kind of huddle up with my 2 comrades here and be like, guys, we need to think of some fun names for these.
I think the command
Something
word
punny.
for the small boat should be ooh. And then for the big boat, you should say
All right.
What is this, a fireworks show?
Yeah, I feel like that could accidentally combust a boat in a room very easily.
yeah.
I was more thinking for the small boat, I'm a grower, not a shower.
We just call the small one grower and the big one shower.
Yes. For the small boat, I'm a grower. For the large boat, I'm a shower. And it's a shower as in shore.
Oh,
I like that.
Oh, it's a boat pun.
It's a boat pun, boy.
It's not a penis joke at all. No.
No. This is very mature.
So whisper the words.
You what?
I'm a grower. I'm embarrassed to say it.
A little dinghy appears in the tent.
Dingy.
I put the cask of the fluid.
Cask
I
of
put it right
fluid
beside yours.
in the dinghy.
And then you need one more
Yes.
command word to make it close.
I'm rather sleepy.
Okay.
All right. And then
Mischief managed.
and then you see it kind of fold itself up like a piece of paper. And now it's just that small little box once again.
There we go. And then I put that in my bag
Wonderful.
of holding.
And so you guys have the Abyssal Elixir. You can probably exit the camp without much muss or fuss. And is there anything you would like to... Any final thing you would like to ask Captain Uton Crouton?
I'd like to ask Captain Uton Crouton for a high five.
He says,
Very nice.
"Of course, my boy." And he gives you a high five.
These are my good
Nice.
books now.
And he says, "Gentlemen, I hope we shall meet again. I hope our paths shall cross once again."
Aye. I raise my cask at him, or my tankard.
And he does the same.
Yeah.
Chug.
Yeah, I just start chugging it. David starts chanting, so I have to.
All right. Anything else?
I think I'm gonna finish up my my ale and then I'm done.
Yeah, I think head back to Amelia and Fred.
So you guys are basically walking along the beach, dead of night, stars in the sky, walking along the beach. It's beautiful, and you do find your way back to the cave. Amelia and Fred seem to be sound asleep, and you guys, if you would like, can take a long rest now.
Yes, because I'm going to want to completely rejig my skills, I think.
Okay, and so you all awaken in the morning to the sound of birds chirping, tropical birds chirping. The sun is peeking into the cave, and Fred is tinkering on the airplane. You can kind of hear the sound of, our ratchet cracking or cranking, some metallic hammering, and he comes over and he says, I see you boys are awake. Did you manage to find the fuel we need for old Bessie?
Oh, did we ever? And then I say the words, I'm a grower.
No, in unison, all three of us say the words, holding hands, looking at Fred.
Heavy eye contact.
I'm a grower.
Yeah, unwavering eye. I'm a grower.
Sure you are, buddy.
And so the dinghy pops open, revealing the 2 barrels of Abyssal Elixir inside. And Fred looks at you and he says, well, that should be enough, hopefully, to get us where we're going. And he pops open one of the barrels, dumps it in the fuel tank, pops open the other barrel, dumps it in the fuel tank. And he says, well, boys, this is it. And he turns over the engine, which sputters. And then all of a sudden sputters, and it comes to life. The propeller starts spinning, and he looks at you and he says, care for a lift?
Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons is David Beaton, the Tiefling Bard, Alex Kerrigan, the Half-Elf Fighter, myself, Darren Warts, the Aasimar Wizard, and our Dungeon Master, David Ashbaugh. We're an independent podcast that relies on you, the listener, to spread the word. If you enjoyed listening, please give us a follow on Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok at Dungeons, Dudes, Dragons, or contact the show directly by emailing us at dungeonsdudesdragons@gmail.com. But more importantly, tell your friends, your coworkers, even your pets to give us a listen. If you'd like to be featured as an NPC, or if you have homebrew items that you'd like to see featured in the show, tag us at Dungeons Dudes Dragons on social media. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Dungeons, Dudes, and Dragons.